Hell of a thing. So a detective, seasoned gun carrying professional, is on a subway. There's a man dancing. So he decides in regular clothes to simply start assaulting this man. I mean, somebody did it a while ago and killed somebody doing something similar, causing a disturbance, they would say. But he got found not guilty. So I guess this cop thought, well, should try his luck. Here it is.
First, it was Daniel Penny choking Jordan Neely on the New York subway. Now it's Harold Christy pushing a black subway dancer off the train in Washington, D.C. As we see in the video, Harold Christy, a white 57-year-old veteran of the U.S. Secret Service and a gun-carrying investigator for the D.C. Office of the Inspector General, enters a Green Line train at the Navy Yard station wearing a Panama hat, places his briefcase on the ground, and leans against the door to look at his phone. A young black man in black and red sweatpants is already sitting on the train to his left. Another young black man with white headphones is sitting on his right. They've set up a portable speaker near Christy, and after the doors close, they turn on the music and start dancing. 2 seconds after the dancing begins, he takes off his hat and starts complaining. "Get off my train! Get off my effing train!" Christy loses it. He grabs the dancer, attacks him, and pushes him against the door. Meanwhile, the other performer pulls Christy off his friend to protect him. He doesn't swing at him or punch him, but when the train reaches the next stop, Christy pushes the dancer off the subway car.
Put up the picture full mass. Harold Christy is a seasoned investigator who was caught on camera confronting and physically assaulting a subway dancer in Washington, D.C. The criminal charges that he faces for the altercation, he's complaining. Harold Christy, a former Secret Service agent who's now an investigator for the D.C. Office of the Inspector General, was actually charged with a misdemeanor for that assault after confronting two individuals, not just one, and physically assaulting them both, in my opinion. But he's challenging the charge on multiple online forums. Now, before I continue, does this not sound, I don't know, Trumpian to you? Former Secret Service, current investigator for the Inspector General's office, carries a gun, has a license, got handcuffs if he needs them, but he's the paperwork guy. He's the big fish person, right? Well, instead of waiting to defend himself in a court of law or filing a motion in court, he files them online, stating that the authorities unfairly pinned him as the aggressor in the encounter with the, quote, illegal dancers. Surveillance video caught the moments Christy boarded the subway train to DC on July 16th. Shortly after he gets on and positions himself next to a train door, one man is seen placing a portable speaker near him and begins dancing. A visibly frustrated Christy immediately confronts the dancer, appearing to scold him, but the dancer pays Christy no mind and continues his routine. According to an affidavit obtained by the Washington City paper, Christy reportedly shouted, quote, "Turn that goddamn music off," and, quote, "Get off my train." Side note, he does not own the train, just in case anybody was assuming so. Surveillance footage shows that a few moments after his outburst, Christy grabs the dancer, shoves him against the train door. One of the dancer's friends immediately breaks Christy's hold, separating him from his friend. I want to take a moment just to applaud the actions of the other individual who did intervene in the protection of another, which is completely 100% legal. And he did not escalate. As a matter of fact, he showed the most discipline between the two. He may need a job with the Inspector General's office more so than Christy. The Christy in question, Mr. Christy, cited when the train makes the next stop, Christy then pushes the dancer after the altercation, after the separation, after it is de-escalated. He then pushes the dancer off the subway while deboarding himself. Okay. The dancer immediately hops back on the train after Christy was charged in the attack. He took to Reddit to make his case online through a lengthy post stating that he was only trying to stop the dancer's criminal and dangerous activity to defend himself and others. He was only trying to stop the dancer's criminal and dangerous activity to defend himself and others. The parallel cannot be dismissed. He's literally using the same argument that was recently used to justify killing a Black male on a subway. I'm just defending myself and others from the danger. In this case, it's dancing while Black. What is the danger here? Of course, there's no danger. Did anybody else see it as a danger? No, they saw him as the aggressor. They are the ones who provided the witness statement saying that he, in fact, was the aggressor. Nobody else on this subway train decided to act in such an extreme way. Why? Because it's semi-routine to see individuals who are trying to perform, show their talent, make money, do such. We even have it in Atlanta. So he says he was actually defending people, all right? Now, Christy then cites a DC law. And the DC law, based on his interpretation, allows for this action. So Christy cited DC law to allege the dancers committed unlawful acts, including they were engaged in false imprisonment and disorderly conduct as reasons to justify his action. So he's saying that they are stopping his movement, his mobility. Quote, they ignored my disorderly conduct. They ignored, my objections and continued to dominate the space with their movements and violent music. Violent music. Christy wrote of the confrontation, quote, when the train reached Waterfront, I attempted to push one of the individuals off the train to stop the unlawful, harmful activity. And because I was in apprehension of imminent offensive contact to me and other passengers in the area. Ironically, they did not whoop his ass. There was no offensive contact. They simply were trying to stop you from attacking them, sir. Now, this argument may actually work on Reddit. Reddit has a lot of arguments, but it won't work in a court of law. He knows this. There's more. The other dancer grabbed me from behind and violently threw me toward the opposite door. That's what he said, right? When the door eventually opened, I succeeded in extricating myself from the car, according to the 57-year-old's version of events. He wrote that after the dancers committed their violent acts against him, the police were called. He was investigated and arrested weeks later for assault. You have to question the judgment of a man who will put forth such a delusional argument, claim that the music itself was violent, that a dancer on a subway who was literally walking away and ignoring the guy was putting him and others in danger. He then proceeds to provide a false narrative about his own actions, saying that the second person violently attacked him. This guy is former Secret Service, current investigator, at the highest levels of government. There's more. He claims investigators are, quote, selectively prosecuting a paying passenger for reacting to rampant, unsafe, and unlawful conduct. Now, I'm pretty sure he has no evidence that the dancers are not paying passengers as well. Adding that, quote, the few malefactors among us make the stations and cars a horror show of unlawful and hazardous conduct. Quote, I don't regret anything, Christy told the Washington City paper, because I didn't do anything wrong. Although Christy pleaded his case online in the hopes of winning over potential sympathizers, his side of the story did not easily sway people. Quote, you weren't defending yourself, one Reddit user commented. Quote, you saw people being annoying in public and decided to get physical with them. That's an overreaction, full stop. They should not be performing on the train, but you should not be assaulting them. We all hate the loud music and panhandling in the metro, but the moment you put your hands on one of them, you lost the high ground. Another person added, quote, good luck on your case, but you brought it on yourself, end quote. Christy has also started a crowdfunding campaign because he needs about $50,000 for his legal expenses because he's completely innocent of all of this. He is simply a victim of the left-wing media and politically ambitious police officers. He shared that he has been placed on administrative leave, thankfully, a leave from his job, and faces possible jail time and fines if convicted. His attorney told the Washington City paper that he's adamant about taking the matter to trial, which is set for January 21. He's doing this to create jury nullification. He's hoping to get a Trumpian jury. So he's doing the Trumpian thing, probably is actually a Trump supporter. Definitely seems so. Now we have an interesting potential case law or precedent that may be set. If this man goes to trial and for some reason is found not guilty, God forbid, it sets the groundwork in the judiciary that could argue, a defense attorney could legitimately argue state versus where loud music and dancing was considered by a court to be threatening and violent. We cannot allow that. Wise thoughts, brother?
Like you, Dr. Richey, I've been experiencing this sort of subway dancing thing in New York. I honestly can't remember a time that I was taking the subway, basically since I was like 12, that there weren't these subway dancers, having a good time, trying to make a little bit of extra change. And yeah, sometimes these guys can get like a little acrobatic and the limbs and the feet start flying everywhere. And these dudes do back flips and front flips through the train car. And it's like, whoa, sometimes you can get like that. Like the act is so physical. But nobody ever, I've never seen anybody actually get angry or pissed off. All you do if you choose to is ignore and not give up a buck or two. Like that's it. That's all that's asked of you. Either give up $1 or $2 or don't. It's really a passive, experience, right? It's not like they're asking you to interact or any of that stuff, right? It's one of the most harmless things. And what I think this dude fails to realize is that the subway or the metro in DC is a public utility. It's mixed use, guys. Like everybody gets to be on there. You don't own that car. And so, yeah, maybe these guys are using the train in a way that you don't deem to be acceptable. It's not on you to adjudicate that. It's not private property, my boy. And so he's completely in the wrong. And yes, the guy that pulled him off of the dude who he was aggressively pushing off the train. Listen, man, something way worse could have happened to that dude. Ask Jordan Neely. about that. Okay. And so he's blessed. He's lucky that he came out of that with just his little suit shirt and his linen suit ruffled and not much else. That's all I'll say for that.
We will provide updates as they come. Once again, he has vowed to take this to trial, according to his attorney.